Talking tea. Phil, we love having you part of the Bigelow team. We definitely consider you family. How long have we been working together?
Well, Cindy, I love being part of the team, and it's been 16 years, believe it or not. You know what it is? It's really nice to have a relationship with a company where you really believe in the product. And my favorite story is when I'm on a plane, pull my briefcase up and pull out some Bigelow tea, people look at me and go, "You really do drink Bigelow tea."
I love that.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome back to Let's Go.
Let's go!
Here's Tom Brady, Larry Fitzgerald, and Emmy Award-winning journalist Jim Gray.
Welcome back to Let's Go. I'm Jim Gray.
Stop writing trash articles about me, then I'll show you respect. I'm a man. Listen, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to waste my life, because when I die, I'm going to paradise. And I'm not worried, so I'm in a hurry to die. But no one's going to disrespect me, and no one's going to write nonsense about me without me retaliating back.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're ready to die?
So Jim had to got everything Mike said, but Jim was trying to clear his ass. Like, he don't want a lawsuit. He's like, hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? So I called Jim early the next morning. I said, Jim. I said, what do you mean? I said, Jim, you didn't hear nothing that man said. You just stopped and you wanted to clear your ass. I had to say, Jim had. I'm like, hold on, Mike, what the hell are you talking about?
A channel that explodes with gritty guitar texture and perfect pop melodies. Sirius XM Pop Rocks serves up those undeniable 90s anthems, 2K hits, and today's fresh pop finds. Turn it up now on Channel 12 and anytime in the Sirius XM app.
You deserve the best. With the Sirius XM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
It's time to get hyped for the NBA season on Sirius XM. From a rookie sensation in San Antonio.
Watch out below! A right-hand hammer slam for Victor Wembanyama.
To Dame time in Milwaukee.
It's good! 54 points for Damian Lillard.
You'll hear every game on Sirius XM, including your hometown announcers on the Sirius XM app. And stay on point with all the biggest stories on Sirius XM NBA Radio, Channel 86.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal, where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to Sirius XM and your music stays with you wherever you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
Sirius XM Triumph. Your life.
This is Dr. Laura. If you want some no-nonsense advice, call me.
Your future.
Dave Ramsey here will give you the proven strategies for your life, your money,
your point of view.
It's me, Megan Kelly. Smart, in-depth, fun, sometimes provocative conversations on this show. I'm not going to hold back.
Plus, inspiring views with Glenn Beck. And daily bombshells on crime stories with Nancy Grace. To hear Sirius XM Triumph, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you too. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! Man, I'm trying to bring the neighborhood together. I'm trying to bring the whole world together. And some people don't appreciate it when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But I tell you who does appreciate it. Have a special guest on today by the name of Patrice Mwamba. And he's actually running for the Democratic Republic of Congo. I want to give that some praise. We'll have him calling in just a moment all across the globe. That's how far Big C goes. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 29 podcast applications all across the universe. You can find Big C Sports Podcast on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Diesel Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast Republic, and there's even one that used to scare me but now doesn't. It's allfreeze.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but we won't let the robots take over. I'm telling you, you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming, OTT, on 4 TV podcast platforms streaming, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. I want to tell you with Big C Sports, I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I'm trying to bring the whole world together. Especially when I get my reparations, I can travel more around the globe. I'm telling you, I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I can. And then the commercials are done. The stats provided. Even do the storytelling. We have some baseball tonight. Runners on first and third. They count for the pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. All at the same time, the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And then 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate that. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. I really love giving out that PSA. And it's called Veterans Crisis Hotline. People going through issues. And I love being a part of the solution. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know our veterans need someone to lean on. And the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they're really there to help. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports into the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. And give that some praise. We want to shine light on the world. Got a lot of great things that are coming to you with Big C Sports Podcast. I'm telling you, there's so much going on in this great world. So many people playing football, basketball, baseball. Got some NFL football to talk about tonight. Also, some Major League Baseball, AL, DCS, and the NLDS. I'm telling you, there's a battle down in Texas. And we're talking about the Rangers. And we're also talking about the Houston Astros and the defending world champions. We'll see what happens. Philadelphia, they're getting their groove on versus the good old boys from Arizona. All fair in love and war. What I'm going to do is take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to have a special guest that I want to talk to you about, and he's calling from the other side of the universe. That's how far Big C Sports reaches. His name is Patrice Mujanu-Mbaba, and his message is he's a presidential candidate for the DRC in 2023 and for Congo Pride. He's going to talk about how Congo, it has so much of a large reach around the world and wanted to do business with the United States of America. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to have a special guest, and he'll speak to you from the other part of the universe. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I'm back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports all around the world on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate that. I have a special guest, and he's calling in from another part of the world, if that makes sense to you, Patrice Mwamba, and he's also running for the Democratic Republic of Congo. I want to get his thoughts. He's also an ex-NFL football player. And Patrice, did you say once an NFL football player, always a football player? Is that what you said to me?
Indeed, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a small fraternity. So once you're in, you never come out.
You never come out. I want to ask you before I get into the political side of the world, and thank you for joining Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that. Now, you know we have football right now, right in the heart of football season. Have a Monday night game tonight. The San Francisco 49ers, which are really big up here in Northern California, they're in Minnesota taking on the Vikings. Give our audience a thought of what it takes to play NFL football, how you actually got started in NFL football, and then we'll get into how you guys started in politics. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, I mean, I think to be thrown the opportunity to play in the NFL, it's an honor, it's a privilege. It requires a lot of sacrifice. Obviously, it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of resiliency into your goals. I do believe that for a fact that it's a dream for many athletes in America and worldwide that want to play the sport of American football. And for those of us that had the privilege to do so, we had to go through the trenches, as we love to say. We had to put the sacrifice, the 2 days in the summer, the discipline in the classroom, and of course being able to balance one in college, between your academics and practice in the afternoon.
Yes.
So it's a different lifestyle that you do have. Starting from, I was able to begin in college, but I know for some of my teammates and brothers, they started much earlier than me because the sport is much bigger in the States than it was where I grew up in Europe, in Belgium. So, it's a long way, but it's worth the sacrifice, it's worth the effort, it's worth everything because ultimately getting to the NFL, that's the biggest platform, and of course that's the biggest dance floor that you can have a dream to be a part of and actually being able to showcase your talent, and of course all the things that you learn during the journey. So yeah.
Tell me if you can, what team did you play for? How many teams did you play for? Was it just one team, or which one did you play for and when? What year?
Just two. I mean, I was in Denver, and I was in Kansas City.
Okay.
So in Denver, I had the opportunity to we play in the NFC Championship in 2005. If I recall correctly. My brain has gone all over the place lately.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, and I think, I know it was an amazing experience. As I say, I always told my younger brothers that this is something that if you have the opportunity to experience, you really have to put the work in, because there is nothing like in the world, and I've been all over pretty much, humbly speaking. I've traveled the world, I've traveled many, many places, but the adrenaline and of course the experience that you have being able to be at that level, it's one of the kind,
Exactly.
Definitely.
So you played in Denver. You also played in Kansas City. You were in the 2005, I think, AFC Championship game. So they have been known for having the loudest crowds in the NFL, especially Kansas City, but Denver's also very loud too. What was your experience like in Kansas City compared to Denver? Was it something similar?
Well, let me tell you, I would say I have an affection for both teams, obviously.
Yes.
I do have a stronger affection for Denver because that's actually where, I landed after college, after my university career.
Yes.
And I liked, back then, Mile High City was on fire.
Yes.
We had an amazing quarterback, and of course we had just mind-blowing chemistry, especially speaking on the defensive side of the ball. Also on the offensive side of the ball, as a team, we had Coach Shanahan was, to me, one of the greatest coaches that I had the opportunity to be under.
Yes.
And my teammates in Denver were some of the greatest. Even, I loved my teammate in Kansas City as well.
Yes.
It was an amazing experience. But for some reason, I've kept in touch with many, many, many people. But the guys that actually are still today, we still visit each other. There's some of them actually, they even travel here to visit me in Africa. Are some of the boys from Denver.
Wow.
So. It's. I love to say that the Mile High has something special. The Iron Stadium is also amazing. It's. Let me tell you something. I think when you get to the level, it doesn't matter what stadium you are.
Yes.
They're all special in their own right, and it's a privilege. It's an honor to just even be a part of any of those institutions. I call them institutions because there is only 32 teams.
Right.
There's
Right.
only 32 teams in only a few states. So it's being at that level, it's just it's special.
Incredible.
It's special. And for a kid like myself that came from Africa, grew up in Europe, and had the opportunity to go all the way there, coming from Texas Tech University, while back then Texas Tech used to be in the Big 12, and we used to be, a very tough conference back in early 2000, playing on the, in the Big 12 South. Getting to that level, it was, and I still reminisce those times, and I miss it a lot, but I'm always thankful for the experience. And
very much so.
I advocate strongly that the sports has to grow. And luckily, today the NFL has opened up a branch in Nigeria.
Wow.
So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
That is interesting because I know the NFL. This is Big C Sports on the phone right now, talking to just one of the great individuals that played NFL football and also now in politics, Patrice Mwamba. Played with Kansas City, but started with Denver. Obviously, you talked about Coach Shanahan, and his son now is the head coach for the 49ers. They're playing tonight up in Minnesota, and he's done a great job, but he learned a lot from his father. Were you able to meet Kyle when he was a young player up there?
Absolutely. Yes. Back then, in 2004, 2005, 2006, he was an intern, of course. So, I had the opportunity to meet him. And, Coach Shanahan used to have these amazing evening at his beautiful home in Denver.
Okay.
So those evenings actually really, really create a very strong bond amongst the players.
Yes.
Because it didn't make any difference because everybody was quite equal.
Yes.
In terms of, everybody was the same. And those playing evening at his home, those, casino nights at his house was just beautiful, amazing, and created a very, very strong bond amongst us. And I know that, Kyle is doing an amazing job. He deserves all the flowers that being given to him. He's an amazing coach today, an amazing role model. And also I have to point out that, the 49ers has one of the best, front office, managers.
In the league,
Mike Lee. John Leach.
He played at Denver also.
Yeah, John Leach was my teammate. He was a safety back when I played in Denver, and definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Wow.
Great team captain, great leader. We all learned so much behind him, learned so much with him by his side, and it shows today now that he actually crossed on the other side of of the field, from the field to the offices.
Yes.
He's done an amazing job there. I mean, I'm just so proud of those guys. So I'm looking up to them because, I had the opportunity to see them at some point, and today they have reached, and I'm sure they will be highly, highly successful for many, many, many more years to come.
That's very well said. Down at Texas Tech, actually a touchdown Patrick Mahomes played at Texas Tech. Could you imagine if you had playing against a player like them? Of course, he came after you, but being out at Texas Tech, they have the air raid pass offense, and now a lot of quarterbacks, they have a run pass option. I think John Elway was a run pass option quarterback back in the day also, and you played against guys that were run pass option. But what do you think? Do you think the whole league is going that way, or are we going back into the drop back only passing quarterback? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, today, let me tell you something, it's a balance, because today the players are much faster, much bigger, much stronger, okay? So the game is too fast. It's real fast. So it's really a balance amongst depending on the coaching staff and depending on the philosophy. And of course, each coach has his own philosophy.
Yes.
But I must say that Patrick, has showcased to be, in 5 years, he has has shown up three Super Bowl finals.
Yeah.
He won 2 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he has so much more years to, under his belt. So,
yes.
I like to believe that he's building an Hall of Fame career as we speak, and he's definitely today the face of the NFL worldwide. True. I've traveled extensively from the Middle East to Europe to Asia, and everywhere, wherever I go, I see his jerseys, I see people, even the guys that don't even understand football the way some of us can say do. They love the guys. So today I think Patrick is one of the best ambassadors of the game, and he's definitely the face of the NFL. And as I say, when it comes to the plays and all that, to me it's really a balance, because guys are too fast, too strong, and the game is progressing.
What Patrice, talking to Patrice Mwamba, former NFL player, also now getting into politics. Before I ask you about your politics, what position did you play? And if you were playing today, could you imagine how much more money you would have in your bank account right now?
Is that right? Yeah, no, I play nose tackle.
Okay.
I play defensive end in college, and I would move inside when I was in the pro level.
Okay.
And I enjoyed that. I love the contact. It's something that the position fit me and fit my personality, my character, and everything else. And yes, talking about what the guys are making today, but they deserve every penny of it.
Yes.
When people often talk about that without understanding the toll that takes
on your
the
body
takes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's 5 years is an equivalent of maybe 40 years on a regular job.
Wow.
So these guys, they deserve every penny of that, and probably they should get more, because it's a lot on the body.
Yes.
It's a lot on everything, pretty much.
Yep.
Even in your family, because it's a lot of sacrifice. You have to get to work early morning, leave very late, early evenings, and this is a 7 days a week job. We don't take time out, and even though we go into off season, but in off season you have to now heal your body.
All the time.
So it's a 12 months a year business. So the guys deserve every penny of that, and I'm so happy for them, so happy for this generation.
Yes.
And I'm even more delighted to see that the future is very, very bright. And I'm very, very excited. From my corner here in Africa, I still watch NFL games, and you get very excited, and I'm so excited now that the NFL has opened up this African branch in Nigeria.
Really?
Ozzy Umanura.
Tell me about that.
The defensive end.
Okay.
Ozzy used to be the defensive end for the New York Giants. He won a Super Bowl with them as well.
Okay.
And he's been a very, very strong advocate, in growing the game overseas. So we initiated that with, Amobi Okoya, a defensive tackle from the Houston Texans.
Okay.
One of the youngest, if not the youngest player being drafted ever at 19 years old. We did that in 2011. And from that point forward, and thanks to the leadership and of the Nigerian state.
Yes.
And today, with the push and the resiliency of some of the players, such as Ozil Manura, today the NFL has opened up, a branch in Nigeria, NFL Africa.
That's
and
beautiful.
This is the beginning of an amazing journey, this is an amazing opportunity for a lot of players, and of course to make the game very inclusive worldwide. Worldwide. So very, very excited, and
that's wonderful.
I can promise that you guys are going to be very well served with a lot of great players from the continent.
That's beautiful. This is Big C Sports talking to Patrice Mwamba, former NFL football player with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he started with the Denver Broncos. And now I thank you for your introduction for NFL football. But now I want to ask you to put on a different kind of suit. No longer do you need shoulder pads. You don't need a helmet, and you don't need to bench press 350 pounds. But give me your thoughts on politics. What got you into politics? Now you're running for the Democratic Republic of Congo, and this, I think it's so strategic now how the DRC is embracing itself, and not just in Africa, but worldwide. Give me your thoughts on how you went from football to now politics, please.
Absolutely. So after my playing career, I went into a consulting business, so I kind of consult for large corporations. I specialize in, open up, platform and business vehicle for international corporations to go into Africa.
Yes.
Which was natural to me because Africa, that's where I'm from, and that's exactly the things I wanted to do in terms of adding value, bringing some value to my people, to the continent.
Yes.
In America, there was plenty like me, but in Africa, I think, I was one of the players that was actually doing the right things in terms of opening up and showcase Africa in a different angles.
Yes.
So, one of them, there is plenty doing even more nowadays, better. So that leads to me, of course, traveling the continent from up and down, south, west, east, and north. I had the opportunity to actually see firsthand, the need of the people.
Yes.
And I'm originally from the DRC, Congo, which is in Central Africa, one of the third biggest country on the continent.
Yes.
In terms of size, and also the third in terms of population. We have a little bit over 110 million inhabitants.
Okay.
And 65% of my population are under the age of 25.
Wow.
So it's a very, very young population in Africa, in the DRC, but also on the continent as well. So, through my travel and my business endeavors, I realized that we are lacking some things, and one of the biggest things that we're lacking today is for my peers, my brothers and sisters on the continent, the ability for them to dream for better.
Yes.
One thing that actually drove me when I went to America, I was able to dream. America gave me the opportunity to dream because I was able to see things in front of me that was really motivating, So
Yes.
I was constantly being motivated. When I went to Texas Tech, I was seeing things that I never mind to put the hard work because I knew that there is something behind that would be, that would bring me much better and much bigger and much comfortable life, and of course a higher good quality of living.
Yes.
So I wanted to provide the same thing to my people because I was able to actually walk the walk.
Okay.
And I wanted to be able to be in a position to provide the same thing to my people. As I say, many of us are coming back, bringing some of the things we've learned, from wherever place we come from.
Yes.
I was in America, so I felt like with the expertise that I learned there, the resiliency, the discipline, and all the good things that America, teach me,
yes.
I could actually be a very big and highly valuable asset to my people. So from that perspective, I felt that the only way for me was to actually be involved directly into the decision making.
Yes.
And of course, the only way you can do that is actually to be a part of the political field,
Yes.
So that's actually how I got to this point, and that's the reason why I decided to run for the highest office of my country.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, Patrice, again, Big C Sports talking to Patrice Mwamba. He's actually presidential candidate for the DRC and in 2023. So let me Let me ask your thoughts on this, because you said something that opened my eyes. You said that coming to America, you saw a lot of opportunities to dream. And now that you've been able to come here, Texas Tech, played college football there, got an education, played for the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs. Now that you're back on the continent, what do you know now that you did not know then, that you would not have learned had you not come here, if that makes sense to you?
Absolutely. I mean, one thing that America have taught me was, we without in us, individually,
yes,
we have the power of change.
Yes.
Okay, we have the power of change. In America, it doesn't matter where you come from, who's your mom, who's your dad, what's your background.
Yes.
Everyone has the ability to become successful. It's all come down to how hard are you willing to like, what is the sacrifice you're willing to put in, how hard are you willing to work to
yes,
get to wherever you want to achieve, and that is, to me, one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing that life can offer to you, an ability to dream. Okay,
yes.
America gave you the ability to dream.
Yes.
And when I come home, one of the things that's missing, okay, it's people don't have the ability to dream, because there is, they don't see the lights around. Everything is dark. So I want to be one of the guys that actually are bringing the light on the continent, and today bringing the light to my people in the DRC. That being said, humbly speaking, I'm not alone.
Yes, you're not alone.
There is plenty of us. There's plenty of us. But as I say, I was able to be in this position because of what I was able to see and experience in America.
Yes.
I came from Africa via Belgium, never played the sport of football, never done anything.
Really?
I decided to try, and then next thing you know, 5 years later, I was able to reach the highest level.
That's
because,
beautiful.
Again, the country, the culture, everything. Everything was in front of me because, they gave me the ability to reach whatever I wanted to put my mind into.
Yes.
And I think this is something that I'm taking from America and bringing back to Africa, it's something that's very, very important to me, and I want my people to be able to experience the same.
That's beautiful.
The same opportunity.
That's beautiful. This is Big C Sports. Charlton Curry talking to Patrice Mwamba. He's running for the Democratic Republic of Congo. I want to ask you in the next few minutes, and I'm so honored to have you on the program. What would you like the world, and especially America, to know about the Democratic Republic of Congo? As you're a spokesperson, hopefully you'll be elected. What message would you want to give to the whole world why they should do business and commerce with the DRC? Please go right ahead.
Well, very simple. Today, the DRC is in the center of all the conversation worldwide.
Yes.
We have all the natural resources that the universe, the world needs in order for us in the Western world to be able to develop our, industries. Okay.
Yes.
So why? I think the African people in general, I'll speak in terms of the continent. We are mature enough today to
yes.
To initiate this type of conversation.
Yes.
Without being ashamed.
Yes.
Or feel not prepared enough. And when it comes to the DRC, as I said earlier, the time for us is now because the need of the world's supply, has to come through the DRC, one way or another. So we are open for business. We want to work with the world because we want to get to the level where we do the business on a win-win situation.
Yes.
For the longest time, Africa and the DRC in particular have done business with the West, but more on the one-way deal.
Exactly. Exactly.
We were not able to have any kind of supply chain, no factory being built back home. But today we have the ability to do those things. So we are looking to have a partnership, relationship, more so than more, and also of a colonial approach. So,
I love what
a
you're
lot
saying.
of my peers,
yeah,
a lot of the Congolese people in the diaspora are coming back home. A lot of the Africans are coming back home.
Yes.
So we can apply all the good things, all the amazing things that we learned in our respective countries, in the West. so we can develop the continent, develop our country, and the DRC is open for business, open for the world to come, and we want to exchange. We want to work together in so many ways and in so many shapes.
I'm fully.
And I also wanted to kind of clarify something, or perhaps I wanted to add this for your listener.
Please do.
One thing that sport is so important for us today, and I'm using a lot of the things that I learned in sport is, we can build a nation applying all the discipline and all the things that we learn in sports. A nation has to be disciplined in order for them to be able to build themselves. A nation has to be very resilient with his ability to reach his target. Because things takes time. Nothing come overnight. Nothing come easy. So some of the things that we apply in sports in general can be applied into nation building today in the DRC and in Africa in general.
Well, Patrice,
so this is very important to people to know that.
Patrice Mwamba running for the DRC and in Congo. I'm telling you, you've enlightened me, number one. I so appreciate how many people may not know that trade does not always go both ways, and you're trying to get that with the DRC and Congo, not for people to just go and extract from Africa, but trade with Africa back and forth. I want to appreciate you for saying that. Also, now, I believe that there's a campaign that in Beverly Hills, California, at Warner Brothers House, which First Lady Joe Biden just had a fundraiser in Southern California. And are you doing campaigning out in California?
Well, I will be in America in the next few weeks here, and I definitely will be having an event to, of course, promote what I'm doing here in the DRC, in the Congo.
Yes.
The purpose of that is, one of the biggest things we want to do is today, if you want to pass the message, widespread. Hollywood is very important, and Hollywood is in California.
Yes.
Is in California. So I'll be in Los Angeles in a few weeks here. I'll be hosting an event.
Yes.
Bringing a lot of celebrities so they can actually hear what I have to say about the DRC, what I have to say about Africa, what I have to say about the relationship between America and the DRC and Africa in general.
Yes.
And most importantly, another thing that the reason why I'll be in Los Angeles is the DRC has been encountered this very troubling situation in the eastern part.
Yes.
For the past 27 years, we have a very unstable situation. So a civil war in East Congo.
Yes,
okay,
that's true.
And this is an issue that has not got enough attention internationally.
Yes.
So being in Los Angeles, really hope to have the type of support that many of the other places like Ukraine and today Israel, Palestine, and things like that. Know that those things are not important. But I feel that it's also my responsibility to use the little things that I have in terms of my little network of people and friends to also speak on what's happening today in my beloved country, the DRC Congo, in the East. So we can also try to raise awareness on what's happening and hopefully find solutions.
Well,
and I know that the international community has been extremely involved into this in trying to find a solution, and I'm highly confident that solutions of peace will be found soon. But it will be very, very helpful to my people here in the DRC if we have we were giving some of the platform that the other places have.
I agree.
So we can also get our message out to the world.
I agree with you 100%. We're talking to Patrice Mwamba, presidential candidate for the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. $100 billion would go a long way in helping you with your campaigning, like other countries have gotten, Ukraine, etc. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm so honored to have you on the Big C Sports Podcast. It goes all over the world. And as you come into Southern California, I would love to talk to you again and try to help you also fundraise with the Democratic Republic of Congo. I work with the National Black Wall Street Project all over the country, and we'd love to have you be a part of what we're doing to get your message out, to bring peace, to bring commerce to the DRC, as well as interaction with trade in the United States. I appreciate you. Is there, in the last minute, is there one special message that you would like to give out Again, talking to Patrice Mwamba, presidential candidate for the DRC, former NFL football player for Denver and Kansas City, but now he's trying to do more things for his country. One last message going forward, sir.
Well, very simple. My message is not long. It's really peace and unity. Peace and unity. I think we live in times where perhaps a miscommunication or frustration may bring people to point where they feel the need to maybe fight each other or maybe get into a big argument.
Right.
But I want to advocate for peace, because I think living in peace enables us to live in very, very good conditions.
Yes.
And today, speaking about the DRC, we have to be unified as a country, unified as a continent, and we should be unified as a world. We should not be speaking in terms of you American, me African, Congolese, and anything like that. We should speaking as us being human. Human beings. So being together, being unified. That's really the word for me. We have to be. We have to be one. Yes. All of us, we are one. We are the same. So we have to love each other, and we have to promote peace and love. And definitely, on the business side, we have to promote a win-win situation where you get some of mine, let me profit from my own resources. So. So we can advance and build even more things in a positive way. So,
well, I so much appreciate you. This is Big C Sports, Charlton Curry. You just heard from presidential candidate Patrice Mwamba running for the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, former NFL football player for Denver and also Kansas City. Gave us his thoughts on what it's like in sports and also what it's like in politics. I hope to be able to talk to you again, especially as you're trying to get your message across when you come out to California. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll talk to you about anything I can. And tell your friends and your political candidates to listen to Big C Sports so they can hear you speak. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Well,
we'll be listening to you from now on. I'll pass the message here back on. We want to be listening to your show. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you for enabling me to pass this message, and thanking you to giving me the platform to speak about my beloved country and my continent.
Well, thank you very much. God bless you. You're listening to Patrice Mwamba. He's a presidential candidate for the DRC in Congo on Big C Sports Podcast. We'll take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When we come back, we'll get more into NFL football. But I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you have a super fantastic day. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcasts all over the universe. Really appreciate that. Just had a special guest to Big C Sports, and his name is Patrice Mwamba. He's running as a presidential candidate for the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Also formerly college football player at Texas Tech, and then the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Talked about his thoughts on the 49ers, their game tonight up in Minnesota with Kyle Shanahan as he played for Coach Shanahan Sr. in Denver. So I got your thoughts on Big C Sports Podcast. When I say all over the world, what do you say all over the universe? If that makes sense to you. I got a game tonight. The 49ers, they're trying to improve from their performance in Cleveland last week. There's no Deebo Samuels and there's no Trent Williams, but they do have Christian McCaffrey back. It's Monday Night Football coming to you October 23rd. It's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff, so already underway. You can see the game on ESPN and ABC. The 49ers, they open at 6.5-point favorites, and when it's announced that McCaffrey's going to play, the spread jumped to 7-point favorites. The over-under is 44. 800 gambler if you have a problem with gambling. But Week 7 concludes with a Monday Night Football game at U.S. Bank Stadium, and NFL is big in Minnesota. The 49ers right now, obviously, they're the favorites. I still have them as the favorite to go on and win Super Bowl 58 down in Las Vegas, Nevada. They're off to a good start, and the Vikings are struggling a little bit. But the 49ers and Vikings, the spread has the 49ers at 7-point favorite. And people have their own thoughts about what it means if there's no Deebo Samuel. But Christian McCaffrey makes a big difference for the 49ers, in my opinion. They have to find a way to get their offense to block better. Brock Purdy, he's just 2-4 against the spread on the road over his career, and over the last 20 years, total primetime road favorites of 7 or more points have covered just 44% of the time. So, again, no Trent Williams, the best tackle in football, left tackle, and no Deebo Samuel. He's out another week, but they do have McCaffrey back. The 49ers, they have no Justin Jefferson for the Vikings to worry about. To me, it looks like a game. It's inside. 49ers can play inside and outside. They go down to LA a lot and play in SoFi Stadium. So I don't think the dome is going to be that much of a problem for the 49ers in this game. At the same time, they got to blitz play better offensively. They had a horrible game in Cleveland. Don't tell me the weather was a factor, because Purdy played at Iowa State where it snows. It was just raining in Cleveland, but I did think they got a bad game from the officials, and I thought that's my opinion. And nobody wants to blame the officials, but you got to call what you see, and that's what I saw last week against Cleveland in Cleveland, that it was an official game, that they took charge of a game. They did not have to, and I think it cost the 49ers overall. Hopefully that won't be the case going into it this week. At the same time, when you look at what happened around the NFL over the weekend, Coach Belichick, he got the Patriots another win in one number 300, like the movie 300. And I want to give him praise. 300 wins with a franchise is a lot. And Bill Belichick obviously been in the hot seat. And a lot of people were saying that maybe this is his last year. I don't think so, because the way he's playing now, I think if he can get another light at the end of the tunnel, he'll go forward with the New England Patriots. But I want to talk about some of the games that happened over the weekend in the NFL. Again, the Ravens 38, the Lions 6. I call him Superman Lamar Jackson. Arguably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, along with touchdown Patrick. There's no place like Mahomes. I give that little Wizard of Oz spin on it. But Lamar Jackson, he led Baltimore to touchdowns on his first 4 possessions, and they ravaged the Detroit Lions 38-6. No one saw that coming. Baltimore 5-2 now, was up 28-0 before the NFC North leading Lions even got a chance to get their first down, and the Lions fall to 5-2 on the season. But that's a good game. When Baltimore plays the way they're able to play, you're going to have success. He was 21 of 27, 357 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he had a near perfect passer rating, 155.8. Detroit didn't see that those Ravens were going to come to play the way they played. Detroit's a good team, but they were caught with their pants down, if that makes sense to you. And then the Patriots 29, the Buffalo Bills 25. What a game it was for the Patriots. Mac Jones threw 1-yard touchdown pass to Mike Gesicki with 12 seconds remaining to lift New England over the Buffalo Bills 29-25. And that gave Bill Belichick his 300th win in the regular season. You got to give that some praise. And when you think about 300 wins, Don Shula 328, George Hollis has 318. The only coaches to reach that milestone, so give him some praise for that. Really do appreciate what he's done in his career. At the same time, around the NFL, the Eagles in the game of the night, at least on paper, 31, and then the Miami Dolphins 21. It was touchdown Jalen Hurts rebounding from a pick 6 to hit A.J. Brown with the go-ahead touchdown on the next drive, and threw for 279 yards and 3 scores to lead Philadelphia to a 31-17 win over the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Eagles are the only 6-1 team in the NFL. The 49ers will try to catch that tonight with a win up in Minneapolis against the Minnesota Vikings. Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins, they fall to 5-2. Again, they were 2 quarterbacks that played for Alabama under Nick Saban back in the national championship game a few years ago. The Pittsburgh Steelers bring the steel curtain to Southern California, and they beat the Rams 24-17 down in Inglewood. Jalen Warren and Najee Harris out of Antioch, California. He rushed for 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Had his touchdown in the fourth quarter. And the Steelers, they came back from a kind of a day that you didn't think they were going to win coming out to the West Coast. But they beat the Rams surprisingly 24-17. And Mike Tomlin, you can't knock him. The Steelers are 4-2. This is a team that many people thought would have him miss the playoffs for the first time as a coach. They may just win the division. Kenny Pickett passed for 230 yards and ran for another score for the Steelers. Again, the Steelers move on to 4-2 on the season. The Rams fall to 3-4, and I thought that was a good one, that Coach Sean McVay would help the Rams win, but it didn't happen. Stafford passed for 231 yards. At the same time, not enough and they are 1-3 at home in that beautiful stadium. The Bears beat the Raiders 30-12. The Raiders, the autumn wind was a Raider, but they were blown out in Chicago. Don't understand the Raiders. That's a game that they could have won easily. Chicago had one win on the season, but now they have two because the Raiders came to town. And what can you say about the Raiders? 30-12. The Bears now go to 2-5 on the season, and for the second time in 3 games after dropping 14 in a row, they want a backup. They want a showdown with a backup quarterback. The Raiders fall to 3-4. Brian Hoyer threw for 129 yards and 2 interceptions. Jimmy Garoppolo still nursing a bad back. All strand love and war, but the Raiders did. The Raiders are who we thought they were. You want to crowd them? Crowd them. The late Dennis Green saying that for the Bears, but also can say that for the Raiders. The New York Giants 14, Washington Commanders 7. Tyrod Taylor threw 2 second quarter touchdown passes, and they got the Giants, which were really suffering from a lack of ability, a lack of passion, but they found a way to get back on the winning side. They're only 2-5 on the season, but this is a team playing Washington now 3-4. You would have thought that Washington would have taken care of the Giants, but you got to give the Giants some credit for coming on to win that game, and they really needed it. The Atlanta Falcons 16, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 13, down in Tampa, Florida. Can you tell me if the Falcons are not for real 16-13 on the road at Tampa? That's a big win. They play in the Dome down in Atlanta, and they had a couple of close losses this year, but the Falcons are now 4-3 in the NFC South. They dropped the Buccaneers to 3-3 in the South. You got to give Atlanta some praise for coming on and give them some praise for maybe even trying to win that division. It seems like no one wants to win it. I thought the Saints were going to be in the driver's seat, but Atlanta may just win that division. You got the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, this is for you. 39, Indianapolis Colts 38. What a game. Kareem Hunt scored on a 1-yard touchdown with 15 seconds left on Sunday, capped an 80-yard touchdown drive that gave Cleveland, the Browns, a 39-38 victory over the Indianapolis Colts. P.J. Walker used all but 15 seconds of the final 2:35 to rally the Browns to win. You got to give the Browns some praise after the win over 49er. And now Cleveland's 4-2 on the season. Isn't that something? They're 4-2 on the season, and no one really saw it coming, but their defense is pretty good, even though they let down against Indianapolis. I got the Seahawks 20, Arizona Cardinals 10. The Seahawks, Kenneth Walker III rushed for a season-high 105 yards. And Seattle under Pete Carroll, the oldest coach in the NFL, they're 4-2. Arizona, they're still trying to rebuild. Geno Smith threw for 219 yards, which is his rookie pass catcher of the day. DK Metcalf missed the first game of his career. It's all fair and level war. Seattle has a defense. They're not like the defense Legion of Boom, but they are good. Arizona falls to 1-6. 1-6 and down in the desert. Doesn't make any sense. All fair and level war, but Arizona quarterback Joshua Dobbs, he was 19-33, only 146 yards. He was sacked 4 times by that Legion of Boom Part 2. Denver Broncos 19 and the Green Bay Packers 17. That's a rematch of a Super Bowl 33 down in San Diego. P.J. Locke saved the Denver Broncos from another second half meltdown, and Jordan Love's deep pass in the closing minutes preserved a 19-7 win over the Green Bay Packers. But both teams are struggling a bit. The Packers are 2-4, and then Denver goes to 2-5, if that makes sense to you. I got to bring in some thoughts on NFL football. Everybody has their thoughts on who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. You'd be hard-pressed not to look at teams like Kansas City, like San Francisco, like Philadelphia, and like Baltimore. And even though Miami was blown out, you still got to look at Miami at times. I still like San Francisco to come out of the NFC because they have, obviously, with Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Brock Purdy's a stable quarterback. We'll see how he bounces back tonight because he has to have that bounce back game. It can't be a game where he just kind of folds like he did last week against. He just had a bad game against Cleveland. They still could have won, but they missed a 41-yard field goal, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to give the NFL some praise. Everybody wants to be the best. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. My show is a little bit different tonight because I had the presidential candidate for the Democratic Republic of Congo, Patrice Lumumba, a former NFL football player for the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is also on Big C Sports Podcast. Give that some praise. Maybe the president of the DRC on Big C Sports. Isn't that something? Really do appreciate that. And more down the road, we'll have him on to talk more about what's going on with him. Got a game tonight in Major League Baseball. Everybody has their own thoughts about, is baseball able to compete with NFL football? Well, not really, but the playoffs are a different breed of cat. We have Philadelphia. They're going up against the good old boys from Philadelphia and Arizona. This is game 6. Everybody has their own thoughts on who's going to win it. Just my opinion, Arizona doesn't even sell out their games at home. So does television really want to see the Diamondbacks competing for a World Series? I think not. So maybe a strike is not a strike and a ball is a ball, etc. A ball's not a strike. Either way, Philadelphia would be better for television because their fans are more into what they're doing in the playoffs. So I'm thinking that Philadelphia is going to get over the hump and head back to the World Series. That's my opinion. And then in the National League, Texas, they're going up against Houston and defending World Series champions with Dusty Baker. If you think about that series, Houston, they had them dead to rights. And then they come back with a bucket of home runs for the Texas Rangers, and they found a way to climb back into that series, and now they're tied for a chance in a Game 7 to go on to the World Series. In Texas, it seems like none of the world teams are winning these games. I mean, all the road teams are winning. The home teams have not been winning these games. Houston had a chance last night. So no matter what happens, Phillies, the Game 6 tonight, I'm looking at Philadelphia to get that win because they just seem to be better with the bat. But the game that really intrigues me from Monday night, the Texas Rangers, they forced a Game 7 against the Houston Astros in the ALCS. And I'm telling you, the road team has won every game so far in the ALCS. In LCS, I'm looking at Philadelphia. ALCS, I'm still going to go with Houston because Houston has the experience of winning last year. The Astros and the Rangers, Philadelphia, they're all good. But I think America would watch, even though some people still don't like Houston for whatever, the Spygate a few years ago, I think Houston, with Dusty Baker going up against Philadelphia, is much more intriguing than having Arizona. Arizona doesn't even sell out their games in the playoffs. And I think their least expensive ticket, I think, was $15 in Arizona. The least expensive ticket in Philadelphia was about $350. So that tells you what's more important to the fans there. And Philadelphia is probably a better sports city than Arizona or Phoenix if you want to aim at that. So that game's 5:07 p.m. pitch, East Coast time, first pitch. And the Rangers-Astros game coming tonight also has it's an intriguing game. The Battle of Texas. So you know Texas is going to be in the World Series. Houston's the only division winner left standing in the playoffs. The 104-win Braves, the 101-win Orioles, and the 100-win Dodgers, they were all sent home. So I still like Houston in their ability to win and to get back into the World Series. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it, and everybody has their own thoughts about it. I want to bring up something that's important to me also, because I'm one of the only sports shows in the universe that's focused on sports and reparations. And just hearing from Patrice Mwamba, presidential candidate, Democratic Republic of Congo, the NFL is spreading into Africa to make sure that they can expand the brand around the world. And that's pleasing for me to hear. But also back home in the United States, reparations is on the mind of Congress for descendants of chattel slavery. And it should happen. It's billions of dollars on the line that Congress talks about with reparations and sports leagues, etc. Everybody has their own thoughts about it, but I want to encourage more people to learn more about it. The NFL's plans to end racism stamped on the back of end zones, and NBA basketball, can't wait to see what they do when they come out and tip off this week. I would love to see NBA say reparations now, reparations forever, and give that some praise and not be shy about it. Because we know that it needs to happen in the United States. Again, my show is a little bit different today, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. What I always want to tell you is, again, I want to thank Patrice Mwamba, presidential candidate, Democratic Republic of Congo, and I hope that he wins. I can't vote for him, but he has my vote. and he's able to come on Big C Sports Podcast. He didn't go on any other sports show in the universe. He came on Big C Sports, and I really do appreciate that. Well, as you know, as I always tell you, as we stand up for the kickoff, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love drink and drive. The life you save may be your own or even theirs. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As you always know what I do it, and I do it loud and proud. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because listening to Big C Sports make me want to say, reparations now, reparations forever. That's the late great Muhammad Ali, and I really do appreciate all the things that I'm able to do with Big C Sports. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911, because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now you know what time it is. As I say on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day as we honor President Abraham Lincoln when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. Let's say it like a team just won the game. Let's say it again. In honoring President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. Say it one more time as if your team just won the championship of the universe. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.